Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Welcome back, guys. And I have finished the 100 battle challenge on the CS-52 Charlie, which is a Polish Tier 8 premium medium tank with super speed. You hit X and you go fast. I don't know if it's super speed. It's speedy. I wouldn't call it super speed, but that's its little gimmick. Hit X and you go fast. As you go fast, you have worse. I think your view range might be affected. I don't remember, but I know your dispersion is affected. If you go slow, you have a better gun handle. You have better gun handling, but you're actually fairly sluggish in slow mode. Now, I've had a love-hate relationship with this tank. I was definitely trending well on it. At about 80 battles, I had a 52%. I had been running a 40% win rate for a while and was really starting to get into it. And around 20 battles, had 52%. I must have noticed that or something because it really went downhill from there. So let's take a look at how I did with this thing. I've already stripped the equipment. We'll talk about it in just a minute. So 100 battles, and I ended up with 48%. There's some interesting things here. First, check this out. 6 draws. I don't know what to make of that. That is a significant difference over the about 2 you might expect at 100 battles. But again, 100 battles is a low sample size, so you can get weird things like this. I think my last 20 games were something like 6 wins, 14 losses, somewhere in there. Battles survived 38%. That's actually pretty good. And usually I've got a better win rate when I'm that high on battles survived. I don't think it's a case of I was running away with its speed. I didn't do that. Probably survived a good number of my wins. Hits at 68.34. My goodness, that's not good. Now, I don't remember the gun being really that bad, but that may speak to some shots being taken on fast mode, trying to take snaps, thing like that. But I don't know, that's a pretty low hit rate for me. Quite low. Damage ratio and destruction are okay at 1.28 and 1.76. Armor use 0.2. Not even a situational turret is terrible. We'll look at the thickness of the turret in a minute, but it looks Russian shaped, but it is not Russian like. It is not Russian like. 1,403 DPG is low for me a little bit for tier 8s, and assistance is okay at 573. I had a 4,896 damage game with 6 kills at some point. So not great. And 870 average experience is low. I would rather it be closer to 1,000 at tier 8. So those things put together, and then I'll just say it's not my fault. I'm the common denominator. It was a tank that had a lot of strengths that normally I don't have a lot of trouble leveraging, but I did with this tank. Now, when I looked at my stats and I was playing the tank and thinking about it, I said to myself, it's not a very good tank. In fact, I've said this on Sunday Coffee Talk multiple times, like, yeah, I'm not doing very good. It's not a very good tank. Oh, well, is it? Really, Guido? So when I was getting ready to do this, I said, well, let's check the stats. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up the stats, and then we're going to prove that it's a terrible tank, and I did as good as I could or something. Well, it was a good idea. Too bad it's not true. Here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth highest win rate. Fifth highest win rate. Relatively low battle and sample size. Now, to be fair, somebody is really rocking the Panzer 58 right now. Must be trying to 3-mark or several people, because we're talking, that's crazy right there. But the Chimera, the Prototypo, and the Mule are perennially near the top of this list. And check this out. The CS-52C is right there. With an average player win rate of 51.97, it is rocking a plus 0.57 or 52.54. That is currently. So, good players who value mobility are probably doing quite well with this thing. It's actually not a bad tank. I'll show you its strength when we get to the gameplay and how when I had good games, it looked a lot like the battle I'm going to show you. When I had bad games, it looked a lot like me getting way out too far in front with a fast tank and getting deleted because it just didn't have any armor to hang out. So be very careful how you use the mobility on this tank. That is what I'm going to say to you, my friends. Okay, so back in here, you can see the crew was good. I was running 5 skills or 4 skills working on the 5th. So it wasn't a crew problem. I did run large kits. I was running Schmalak, bread with Schmalak, all right? So food. Carrying plenty of gold rounds, a standard pen of 208, which is kind of iffy, and then a heat round of 270, which is kind of low for a heat round, although it's a medium tank's heat round. I don't love heat rounds, so they cause me trouble. You know, I'm going to complain about anything. I'm either going to complain about the APCR having too low of a pin to deal with higher armor, or I'm going to complain about the higher armor heat having trouble with tracks and things like that. All right, just understand it's going to be a whine fest either way. The HE round is okay at 410 and 53 average penetration. That's the crew. That's the heat rounds. Equipment. I did have 2 setups. I was running a Vision setup, which had a CVS, a turbo, and optics on it. And then I was running a combat setup, which was going to have, and these were all bounty or improved, mostly bounty. I was running with the combat setup a rammer, vert stab, and I'm trying to remember what the other thing. I think it was an IA to tame the dispersion, which as it sits without equipment on it is 0.34, which is not great. So I want to say it got down to about 0.32 with all the equipment and skills and et cetera, et cetera. All right, so there you go. That is how I had it set up. Let's take a look at some gameplay of the CS-52C Tier 8 Polish medium tank. Zoom, zoom, press X. Okay, gameplay. As we mentioned, we're going to go over some of the strengths, or at least as I see it, some of the strengths, and really has to do with mobility. We're not really going to tell anyone anything absolutely brand new here. This thing is about its speed. You can see that I've got a setup here for a Vision setup with the experimental turbo. I've got the CVS and the Vision. The other setup I have, and I don't think I can change it on the replay now, is more of a combat setup with a rammer rammer, vert stab, and turbo, I think. Rammer, vert stab, might be IA, something like that to tame the gun a little bit. This is an all-tier 8 battle. We're here on Karelia, and we'll get started. So I'm going to use the speed initially. It does start in the fast mode. You can tell that by the little gold doodah right there where it says 1.5. That's how many seconds it takes to switch. When it's gold in spinning, then you're in fast mode. When it is silver, then you are in slow mode. In fast mode, as you can see, the dispersion is massive, and it does take a little while to switch. Learning when and how to switch between the two can be tricky. And you'll notice as I am watching this, I went around that corner and up the hill, and nobody showed up. These guys, I was watching that on the minimap, all came around the corner and nobody showed up. This is telling me that they are not pushing to this side of the ramp. So you need to pay attention to that on the minimap. If they do push up, then you don't do what I'm doing right here. The other thing you have to watch out for is getting shot in the side from people down here, because I was spotted coming up and over. This tank can get you into trouble easily. I know a lot of you are looking at this and like, well, that's just a 50-50 chance, maybe even worse, to get up on that hill and get something going on. I agree, absolutely. I like to play that way. I don't want to sit in a bush all day. So I'm going to push the limits and try things like this. Just going back to what I just said, it's not a complete spastic YOLO. I did pay attention to what was going on, so it ended up working out for me right here. Problem is, if it doesn't end up working out, I come up the other side of the ramp and can't come up and over, and they push a bunch over, yes, I could absolutely be in trouble. All right, so I'm going to see if I can just find anyone maybe trying to cross into that low spot, but it doesn't look like it. Now notice I'm not stupid, all right? I'm dumb, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go boiling around that corner or even poke. What's the point? If something got into this little bush over here, or there's 3 or 4 of them stacked up, and I come around this corner and they all decide to come out and get rid of me, well, I'm going to be hurting. Don't need to. Look at all the heavies and things I have coming to back me up. So I'm in slow mode here. You can see that it is silver, and it's 2.5 seconds to get back into fast mode. Fortunately, our LTTB dies to the blessed. I'm just trying to see if I can get a light on him, but I can't. So we're going to spend a little bit of time up here because I have my spotting set up, seeing if we can't catch some of their guys out. I would be very careful up here in this part of the game. Notice how many guns there are left, how many tanks there are left. They only have a Blesk in terms of a light tank, and I know he's way over there, but still, if you get a medium with a CVS down in here, there are some holes in these bushes with lines of sight through various areas down here, down low. Could be a medium coming up this ramp who's about to say hello to everyone right here and light everybody up here. So early on like this, be very careful with this position. You might think, ooh, I'll just run forward into those bushes there and start lighting things. Well, maybe. So I'm trying to be as careful as possible here. There's one of the holes. There's various rocks and there's the bushes and all the things. So I'm trying to make sure I don't uncover myself with too much line of sight up into where I am. And now it is kind of a game of great. I just used that speed. Now what? Didn't really get us anything. Yes, we have the hill. Everything else is going okay, but we're trying to figure out what we have to do next. I am noticing that up in the northwest, things are not looking fantastic up there. That bears watching. There's a Skoda, a T-34, and pretty quickly this charioteer is going to YOLO in here and die. On the one hand, it was a noble sacrifice, but it didn't really get things done either. You'll see it happen here in just a minute. I can see their VK is moving up. All right, can I get a shot? And do I even want to shoot right there? Probably not, guys. I take that shot, I get one shot of damage on the Blesk, and whatever is camping up in here shreds me, to include anyone else who might be down by the Blesk. In fact, we'll find that Udez is in kind of the common spot where you'll find tanks like that often, which is about D or C, 4 or 5, right? Kind of right in that area. So that's one guy. People are shooting in there. That Tiger 2 was last seen. Go ahead and cruise up here and see if we can't get a shot on the Blesk. No. I think the charioteer is about to make his move. There he goes. So he eats a big shot making a move and then gets shredded by the Blesk. I think he puts one shot of damage on the guy. There we go. A 238. So I don't know what he hit him with. It didn't pen. That down goes that guy. And I put a shot on him. All right, great. There's the Udez. He starts moving around. We'll try to hit him if we can. Nope, doesn't matter. Someone else killed him. And the Blesk is back in his rock. Notice that up in the northwest, we have that situation I said bears watching is now starting to unfold. Contradictus in a mill. The STA-1's backing them up. I see the 8.8. Take a shot there. That was a bit of a risk. I sort of ignored my own advice. And notice that we've got everything going on for us here on the hill. And over around the corner, I like that not too many of our guys are poking, although the stupid Tiger 2 decided to poke around a couple times and got shredded, right? There's a lot of guns. We're missing an RHM. We're missing an XM57. We're missing a Su-130 PM. I would imagine 1 to 3 of them are all back here shooting down that lane. And Mr. Tiger, Venom 324, has found that out. So great, we have the hill. What are we going to do with it? Great question. Great question. Well, we hold it for now. We start picking them apart because we got a good position up here, like shooting at the Panther and shooting at the Udez. But pretty quickly, I can already tell we're going to have a problem on the other side of the map. And that's where a tank like this starts to really shine, with the speed. The Vipera, I don't know. I don't love where he is, but at least he is not dead, and he is available to start trying to shore up the other flank. That's what I'm going to go do right now. I watched the Udez, I'm like, well, good luck, buddy. He gets shredded. Not too much, not quite as bad as the Charioteer, and then finally kills the Blesk. That's really important on this map. Very important. Unfortunately, we already lost their LTTB, but at least we got rid of their light tank. Their light tank got himself sort of trapped, and that was very useful for us right there. Pershing is now pushing the Udez. The T-34 is kind of hanging out, and now we got the Contradictus and the Emil pushing. So I'm going to use all the speed this thing has and come around here. Now, can any other medium tanks do what I'm doing? Absolutely. They're not quite as fast as this, but you know, a Barask, something like that, could do this easily. This is paying attention to the match and going where I'm needed. I've only got 612 damage, no kills, but at least I have my hit points, and I'm able to reposition back here and start to figure this out. Then we can use the Vipera to help. So can I get a shot on this Emil? No? Alright, so I'm going to stay up here. Sometimes I would move down into this position down here, but now I know that Emil with that great gun depression and good turret is going to take this corner, and that's just a recipe for me getting ganked. So I'm going to stay with a little bit more standoff. I'll just accept that I'm knocking trees down. Nothing to do about it anyway. I was really hoping he'd just come around the corner. And he kind of did, so I missed an opportunity there. I think I had the back of his turret, potentially. Okay. Not a super accurate gun, my friends. It's okay, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a sniper. So now I've got an Emil. He could come up below me there and proxy light me, so this is not a great spot, but we're going to try to hold these guys off for now. And unfortunately, the goofballs down there in the southeast are still trying to poke the corner and peek around and losing hit points. No real reason for that, guys. No real reason for that. Okay, the Emil has moved up, and that's going to give me some opportunity. I'm just going to close this guy out with the heat round. No, I'm not. Son of a... That sucked. At least I didn't get lit. That's nice. So I backed him out. I really want to peek around the corner. Another little wish shot that didn't go in. I really wanted to come around the corner and put one shot in that Emil and make him start fighting two ways. But I got to get that Contradictus out. I either need him to be dead or move somewhere to where he can't come around the corner and hit me immediately. So I like that the G-Sour's reacted. The RHM has a really good game. I think he's probably also looking this way. We lose the 14-5, not great, but we get rid of his CS. I don't want to get proxy lit by the Emil. He doesn't really know I'm here. I'm like, all right, where is Contradictus? All right, so there he goes, and check it out. He actually moved to the right of the rock, so I feel like I can pop down here, shoot the Emil, and get back before the Contradictus can clear the rock and hit me. Nice. And back out. All right, that worked out well. We'll take it. Boom. Down goes a Contradictus. I like it. Now here comes the Emil. I think he really wanted to come take me on, but he knows that there's multiple guys with cross shots. This is where that hill is important on this map, fellas. We got a bunch of guys up on the hill, so this push by the purple team is idiotic. They didn't need to do that. Our guys didn't need to do what they did. Oh, by the way, take a look. The stupid Tiger 2 is dead. The KV4 is dead. You got to be kidding me, fellas. Come on. All right. We clear out the Emil. Then I think we got something going on. I like the G-Sour's move. He's going to change the angles a bit. That guy takes a hit. He doesn't hit me. All kinds of crossfires. Really nicely done on the G-Sour's part. Pershing actually showed up to help. And then, of course, the G-Sour gets caught out by the STA-1. So let's see if we can clear out this side a little bit. I'm really hoping that the hill and the 0-9 column doesn't screw this up over there. If they both die and we can't get up the hill in time, we can't get back to help them, we could be in some big trouble. And we're starting to get about halfway through the match, so time will start to become an issue. Not an emergency yet, but we do need to get some movement here. So check this out. Here's the... I want to see how I did on this actually. I don't know if my gun was actually pointing at him, but I am in fast mode and I have really terrible dispersion. What I want to do is swing around here and strafing attack the STA-1. Okay, so I do get... Oh, look at that. I mean, just cleanly misses. And it's not a case of my turret wasn't able to catch up. It was right on him, but that massive dispersion just absolutely misses it. A little help from my friend. Nicely done, Pershing, and we shut that guy down. There's no artillery to worry about, so I'll just turtle up against this. Somebody shot at me. That was interesting. Is that my own guy? That might have been my own guy. I don't know. And we will bail out. Look, there's no reason really right now to push into their guys camping back here, because look at the issue we're starting to have over there on the 9 and 0 column. We're frittering away our hit points. It's 8-8, and they're making a bit of a push with some heavies over there. There's zero reason for the Pershing and the Viper to push. Let's see what happens. I'll give you one guess as to what they do. Small argument to be made about cleaning up the SU, but again, I don't know where the Tiger is. I don't know where the XM is. It looks like their Su-130 is backing up. If we do the alt thing, no, that's the 8.8. So there's the Su-130. Su-130 is there. So I don't know where their RHM is. Down goes the Oho. All right, using the speed again, where this tank and where mediums in general, but this tank especially when it's in fast mode excels. A large map like this, I'm coming all the way back around to the other side of the map here. I'm watching the Viper and the Pershing. I'm wishing them as much luck as possible. We're going to come back here. If they can kill a couple or get up on their cap, good on them. Come back here and see what we got. All right, so this dude's pushing. We'll aim. We'll be very careful and deliberate, and we'll put a 278 on. That was good. I was feeling good there, and I figured I'd have him dead pretty quickly. Unfortunately, I am not able to put any more shots on this guy. So we've got 1,500 damage, 160 assists, no kills. RHM sitting there. Again, he does pretty well with his damage. Su-130, not my favorite position for those two, but they can support the Vipera and the Pershing. The Pershing pushing. The Vipera and the pushing Pershing. I want to make sure that the G-Sword doesn't get pushed. And I guarantee you, if I wasn't here, they would have come around that corner, pushed up, and taken out the G-Sword. The only reason these guys aren't doing anything is they know somebody's in this bush right here. Didn't get me lit. Be careful with this position, fellas. Obviously, it's one of the most known positions in the game. People will blind shoot into that bush. So if you just sit there in the bush waiting for a shot, you may get blind shot. At this range, as you can see, they're just inside my spotting circle or to be spot circle. One and the same in this case, based on my view range. It's fairly likely that those two tanks with their bad view range won't see me based on my camo. So I can come out clear on the right here. If they come a little bit more closer, a little closer, I may not be able to do that anymore. So we want to be careful with it. But maybe I can shoot them. No. Geez, that's going to get me lit. Absolutely. There's no arty, so I'm not worried about it. The G-Sword put a shot on him. Okay, we'll come up this way. See that shot that just went by? See what I did? I knew I was lit, so I backed to where I was still behind the rock, and then he tried to time that shot. I had a good idea that's what was about to happen, so I let him take his shot. I'm like, no, it will go too far back. Armor not penetrated. All right, I was seen on that one. And, okay, there, oh, got me lit. He's not looking at, well, he's looking at me, but he doesn't have his gun online because he's hiding behind that other tank. I'm probably going dark here fairly quickly. G-Sword is still alive. He's fighting for his life. I see the RHM. Look at that. I think he might have been actually shooting where I was right here, to be honest. I just don't have a shot. It's amazing that the hatch of the dead tank is almost perfectly hiding the hatch of the 100-01. Whether he's doing that on purpose or not, I have no idea. But if he is, that's pretty clever. I don't think it is. All right, there goes that fella. That's a bummer. All right, not good. But the RHM is now up top, and the RHM is on pretty good hit points. The XP pushes up there. The Pershing, the Vipera just died. I'm going to kill him right here. Boom. No, didn't even come close to the hatch. Not even close. Tiger 2 died. Great. Hey, man, sometimes the best defense is a bad other team. All right, now I'm not going to get that. All right, so the 8.8's done a nice job pushed up there. But he's in big trouble if the RHM and the Su-130 win. The Pershing and the Vipera, I think I said the Vipera is dead. He is not dead. They're pushing the 110, so we kind of know where everybody is now. Yep, look at that. All right, so what happened there is I'm going to pop around and light the 100-01. He knows I'm in this position. I know that he knows that when I pop out and his sixth sense goes off, roughly 3 seconds after I pop out, maybe less with certain skills, that his light bulb's going to go off and he's probably going to shoot into this position. So I pop out, light him, and back out. You just saw the shot go by. So I baited a shot. Oh, that was at least online. It was never going to be high enough. That never happened, or it never hit him anyway. Great, we got the XM57, little teamwork. Makes the dream work between the RHM and the Su-130. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to push in here on the 8.8. I'm hoping I can get close here and not get spotted. There we go. So I did not get spotted by the XM57. I'm going to switch into slow mode, but he lights me and then he notices it fairly quickly. He's going to turn his gun on me here in just a minute. This tank, oh, and I hit the ground. I rushed the shot, guys. Probably the worst time to rush the shot right there. Should have just stopped for a minute and made sure that I got that shot because I'm well ahead of him in hit points and I could have had him more or less to a one shot or two shot. One shot with a high roll if I'd have hit him, but I didn't. 300 alpha on this gun. So now, all right. I know the 8.8 shoots quickly. That was a good shot on his part. I'm going to shoot him. He's trying to wiggle jiggle. Only a 287, so he's definitely a two shot to me now. I'm going to eat another one. Good on him. He actually tracked me there, but at least I didn't take any damage. Get him in the turret with another rush shot, so I'm not really playing this very well, but we get reloaded. Watch how fast this guy, no, he did another shot. That thing reloads so quickly. All right, there he goes, and boom. Snap that one off. 2,334, 164 assists, 1 kill at the very end on the VK1001. Repositioning, speed, that's what this thing has going for it. Let's wrap this up. Well, all right, there you go. Gameplay. Like I said, when I had a good game, it looked a lot like that particular game right there where I was able to move around. You don't always have that option. You don't always have the map that can do it. You don't always have the positioning or map control that allows you to do it. So whether or not this thing can use its mobility has a lot to do with a lot of factors in the games. But if you can, it's quite good. And clearly some people are doing that well because it's got pretty dang good stats and very much surprised me. I don't know how many people, raise your hand. And if you are that person that goes, yeah, I always knew it was good and I did well in it, well, good on you. But I don't think it's well liked, but it probably should be. Probably should be. In the right hands, pretty darn good tank, but it is tricky. I will say that. It is tricky, and it might be that if you're at the medium to lower skill level area, it's not really a tank for you. Unless you kind of understand how to get around maps and use the speed to your advantage versus your disadvantage, as in I get into trouble quickly and die fast. All right, fellas, that's all I've got. Let me know what you think down below. What do you think about the CS-52C? Do you have one? Do you like it? That's all I've got. Have a good one. See ya.